The Cosby Show, 1984. Cast reveals what most fans never figured out. They called it the greatest family on American television. Every Thursday night, millions of families gathered around their screens to watch the Huxtables, laughing, arguing, loving, thriving. It felt perfect. It felt safe. But behind every carefully lit scene, behind every warm hug and colorful sweater, something else was happening. Secrets were being buried. Careers were being quietly destroyed. And one woman turned down the role entirely, choosing a path that would make her immortal. Before this story is over, you'll never see The Cosby Show the same way again. If you've ever wondered what really happened to the people who built that world, stay right here. Subscribe to Remembered Lives channel and hit the bell, because these are the stories history almost forgot. Bill Cosby, Dr. Heathcliff "Cliff" Huxtable. For nearly a decade, Bill Cosby was the most trusted father figure in American television. Born on July 12, 1937, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Cosby built one of the most remarkable careers in entertainment history. Stand-up comedian, author, producer, and actor, long before he ever slipped on those now infamous colorful sweaters as Dr. Heathcliff Huxtable. The Cosby Show, which premiered on NBC on September 20th, 1984, was not just a ratings phenomenon, it was a cultural revolution. For 5 consecutive seasons, it held the #1 spot in Nielsen ratings, a feat shared only with All in the Family in American television history. At its peak, the show generated over $2.5 billion in revenue, including $1.5 billion from syndication alone. Cosby wasn't just starring in the show, he was producing it, shaping its moral direction, and using it as a platform to present Black American excellence at a time when that image was rarely seen on primetime television. What most fans never knew is how carefully Cosby controlled every detail of the show's identity. He personally vetoed the original concept, which would have made Cliff a limousine driver and Claire a plumber, after his wife Camille suggested the characters reflect their own professional, upper-middle-class reality. The result was a family that felt both aspirational and deeply human. But the man behind America's favorite dad harbored secrets that would eventually shatter everything. Beginning in 2014, when comedian Hannibal Buress mentioned the allegations in a set that went viral, a flood of accusations broke open. Over 60 women came forward with claims of sexual assault, drug-facilitated rape, and misconduct spanning from 1965 to 2008. In 2018, Cosby was convicted of aggravated sexual assault against Andrea Constand. He was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison. In June 2021, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court overturned the conviction on procedural grounds, and he was released. TV networks pulled every rerun. Honorary degrees were revoked. The sweaters that once symbolized warmth became a haunting image. At 88 years old today, Bill Cosby remains one of the most complex and devastating falls from grace in American pop culture history. A man who gave the world so much and took so much more. Phylicia Rashad, Claire Huxtable. If Bill Cosby was America's dad, then Phylicia Rashad was something the television world had almost never seen before. A Black woman who was brilliant, elegant, professionally successful, and deeply loving. All at the same time, on primetime television, week after week. Born on June 19, 1948, in Houston, Texas, Phylicia Rashad, born Phylicia Ayers Allen, graduated magna cum laude from Howard University in 1970 with a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree. Long before she ever set foot on The Cosby Show set, she had built a serious theatrical foundation on Broadway, performing in productions like Dreamgirls and The Wiz. She was not a newcomer. She was a trained artist ready for the spotlight. And when Bill Cosby personally chose her to play Claire Huxtable, specifically because of her ability to command a scene with quiet authority, the television landscape changed permanently. Claire Huxtable was no sidekick. She was a practicing attorney, a mother of 5, and a woman who could reduce her husband to nervous laughter with a single glance. The character earned Rashad 2 consecutive Emmy Award nominations for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series in 1985 and 1986. In 2010, she was publicly referred to as the Mother of the Black Community, a title that spoke to how deeply her portrayal resonated across generations. What viewers never saw was the physical toll of one particular season. During the show's 3rd season, Rashad was pregnant with her daughter Condola, now herself a highly respected actress. Rather than write the pregnancy into the storyline, producers kept it a closely guarded secret. Rashad was filmed from strategic angles, seated behind kitchen counters and tables, or hidden under oversized jackets. A specially designed mattress was used during one scene, and the unnatural positioning caused her a painful pinched nerve in her back. She continued filming without complaint. After The Cosby Show ended in 1992, Rashad never stopped working. In 2004, she made history as the first Black actress to win the Tony Award for Best Actress in a Play, for her performance as Lena Younger in a Broadway revival of A Raisin in the Sun. She won a second Tony in 2022 for Skeleton Crew. She appeared in the Creed film franchise and in The Beekeeper in 2024. In 2021, she was named Dean of Howard University's Chadwick A. Boseman College of Fine Arts, though her tenure ended in 2024. One moment nearly undid everything. When Bill Cosby's conviction was overturned in 2021, Rashad posted publicly, calling it the correction of a miscarriage of justice. The backlash was immediate and severe. She deleted the post and issued a full apology within hours. At 77 years old, her legacy remains extraordinary, but not uncomplicated. Sabrina Le Beauf, Sandra Huxtable. She almost never got the role. And neither did the woman who almost took it from her. Born on March 21, 1958 in New Orleans, Louisiana, and raised in Los Angeles, Sabrina Le Beauf was 26 years old when she auditioned for the part of Sandra Huxtable, the eldest daughter of the Huxtable family. The producers were conflicted. She was, by their own admission, almost too old, only 10 years younger than Phylicia Rashad, who would be playing her mother. The other top contender was a 21-year-old newcomer named Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston, the woman who would become one of the best-selling music artists of all time, with over 200 million records sold worldwide, nearly committed to a long-term NBC television contract instead of a recording deal. She chose music, and with that decision, she handed Sabrina Le Beauf one of the most coveted roles in American television history. What the audience never knew was the contract battle that followed. Le Beauf herself refused to sign a contract that would have blocked her from pursuing a parallel singing career, echoing almost exactly the same reason Houston had walked away. The parallel is striking. Two women, both protective of their artistic freedom, at the exact same crossroads. Le Beauf brought quiet sophistication to Sandra, the Princeton-educated overachiever who rarely needed to shout to be heard. She appeared in 176 of the show's 201 episodes, a consistent and grounding presence across 8 seasons. After the cameras stopped rolling in 1992, Le Beauf made a choice that surprised many in Hollywood. She largely stepped away from the spotlight. She channeled her creativity into interior design, enrolling in the UCLA Professional Interior Design program and building a career serving high-budget clients. She described the transition in one interview with striking clarity. She said that walking into an empty home and building it to life felt exactly like building a character from the page. She never completely left performance. She continued working in theater, most notably as a frequent leading lady with the Shakespeare Theater Company in Washington, D.C., playing demanding roles including Catherine in The Taming of the Shrew. She also lent her voice to the animated series Fatherhood. Her marriage to businessman and producer Michael Reynolds lasted over a decade before their mutual divorce in 1997. Now 68 years old, Sabrina Le Beauf remains one of the most gracefully private figures of her generation. Lisa Bonet, Denise Huxtable. No one on The Cosby Show lived more dangerously, or more honestly, than Lisa Bonet. Born on November 16, 1967 in San Francisco, California, Bonet was still a teenager when she was cast as Denise Huxtable, the free-spirited, fashion-forward second daughter of the Huxtable family. From the moment she appeared on screen, something was different about her. Denise didn't fit neatly into the show's carefully maintained image of excellence and decorum. And neither, it turned out, did the actress playing her. The tension between Bonet and Bill Cosby began early and escalated publicly by 1987. Reports emerged that she was frequently late to set and often absent from filming. To manage the conflict, Cosby created A Different World, a spin-off built around the Denise character, set at the fictional Hillman College. It was framed publicly as an opportunity for creative growth. Behind the scenes, it was a way to remove her from the main set entirely. Then came Angel Heart. In 1987, Bonet starred in the psychological horror film alongside Mickey Rourke, in a role that included an explicit and graphically filmed sexual scene. Cosby initially claimed he had no objection. He later admitted privately that the film troubled him deeply, reportedly describing it as a movie that cast a black girl and gave her voodoo things to do and have sex. She also posed nude for both Interview and Rolling Stone magazines to promote the film. Cosby's primary stated concern was the impact on the show's young audience and her younger castmates. Then, in early 1988, Bonet became pregnant with her daughter Zoe, now a globally recognized actress and the child of her then-husband Lenny Kravitz. A pregnant college freshman was incompatible with the Different World storyline, and Cosby made the call. She was fired from the spin-off. He later brought her back to the main show for season 5, hiding her pregnancy under layers of oversized jackets. She was ultimately fired again at the end of season 7 in April 1991. In 2018, Bonet gave a rare and powerful public statement, saying she had always sensed a sinister shadow energy around Cosby, even years before the public allegations emerged. She has consistently declined to attend Cosby Show reunions. Now 58 years old, Lisa Bonet has been married twice, to Lenny Kravitz from 1987 to 1993, and to Jason Momoa from 2017 until their divorce was finalized in January 2024. She remains one of the most quietly influential figures to have ever walked off that Brooklyn brownstone set. Malcolm-Jamal Warner, Theo Huxtable. He was 14 years old when the world first met him as Theo Huxtable, the lovable, sometimes frustrating, always relatable only son of Cliff and Claire Huxtable. And for 8 seasons across 197 episodes, Malcolm-Jamal Warner made that role feel utterly real. Born on August 18, 1970, in Jersey City, New Jersey, Warner was named after activist Malcolm X and pianist Ahmad Jamal, 2 names that together suggested a destiny involving both principle and art. He began taking acting classes around age 9, and by 1982 had made his television debut. 2 years later, he landed Theo. The Emmy nomination he received in 1986 for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series was not a surprise to anyone who watched closely. Warner had a rare gift for emotional naturalism. He could land a joke and break your heart in the same scene. What audiences never knew was the hidden layer behind Theo's academic struggles. The storyline was drawn directly from real life. Bill Cosby's own son, Ennis Cosby, had dyslexia. The show used Theo's character to illuminate the experience of learning differences in a way that was compassionate, specific, and, for many young viewers, life-changing. Warner himself has said that people still approach him decades later to say that Theo's storyline was how they first understood they might have dyslexia themselves. Behind the scenes, Warner had a genuine rivalry with Carl Anthony Payne II, who played Theo's best friend, Cockroach. The tension had roots in a simple fact. Payne had auditioned for the role of Theo and lost it. Warner was candid about the friction, noting that Payne carried a significant ego about it for years before the two eventually reconciled. After the show, Warner built a multifaceted career across acting, directing, music, and spoken word poetry. He directed music videos for New Edition and Special Ed. He fronted a band called Miles Long. His 2022 spoken word album, Hiding in Plain View, earned a Grammy nomination. On July 20th, 2025, while on a family vacation in Costa Rica, Malcolm-Jamal Warner drowned at Playa Cocles in the Limón province. He was 54 years old. His mother Pamela confirmed he did not suffer in his final moments. The tributes that followed, from Beyoncé to his Cosby Show castmates, reflected a man who had spent a lifetime earning genuine love, not manufactured celebrity. Tempestt Bledsoe, Vanessa Huxtable. She played the middle child, and like many middle children in real life, Tempestt Bledsoe brought something to the Cosby Show that often went underappreciated precisely because it was so consistent. Reliability, warmth, and a grounded authenticity that kept the Huxtable family feeling real across all 8 seasons. Born on August 1, 1973, Bledsoe was cast as Vanessa Huxtable, the third daughter, the overachiever with a dramatic streak, the teenager who snuck to Baltimore for a concert and faced the full force of Claire Huxtable's legendary composure. The scene where Claire quietly, methodically dismantles Vanessa's excuses became one of the most quoted moments in the show's run. Behind the camera, there was a dimension to Bledsoe that very few viewers ever connected to the girl on their television screen. After The Cosby Show ended in 1992, she didn't disappear into obscurity. She enrolled at New York University's prestigious Stern School of Business and earned a bachelor's degree in finance. The choice was deliberate. She had watched enough of the entertainment industry to understand that creative success without financial literacy is fragile at best. That education proved critical at a deeply personal moment. Her longtime partner, actor Darryl M. Bell, best known for playing Ron Johnson Jr. on A Different World, whom she first met in 1989 when she guest starred on that show, lost his family's fortune at age 24. Bledsoe used her financial knowledge to help him rebuild from the ground up. The two have been together since 1993, choosing a long, committed partnership over legal marriage, a decision they've maintained for over 3 decades, built on what Bledsoe described simply as compatibility and shared laughter. Post-Cosby, her career showed impressive range. She hosted the Tempestt Bledsoe Show from 1995 to 1996. She appeared on The Parkers and The Practice. From 2011 to 2013, she hosted Clean House, a home transformation series she found personally meaningful. She competed on VH1's Celebrity Fit Club, where she lost 19 pounds. Now 52 years old, Tempestt Bledsoe remains one of the steadiest, most quietly impressive stories to emerge from the entire Cosby Show cast. Keshia Knight Pulliam, Rudy Huxtable. She was 9 months old when she first appeared in a Johnson & Johnson commercial. By age 3, she had a recurring role on Sesame Street, and by age 4, she was Rudy Huxtable, the youngest, most irresistible member of the Huxtable family, and the character that millions of viewers watched grow up in real time across 8 seasons of primetime television. Born on April 9, 1979, in Newark, New Jersey, Keshia Knight Pulliam holds a record that still stands today. At just 6 years old, she became the youngest performer ever nominated for a Primetime Emmy Award, receiving a nomination for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series at the 38th Emmy Awards. That nomination was not for a child actress doing cute things on camera. It was for genuine, emotional performance that moved adult viewers week after week. What fans rarely understood was the specific challenge that came with growing up inside a role so beloved. By the time she was 10, Pulliam was already conscious of a gap forming between who she was becoming and who audiences expected her to be. "I have to let audiences know that now I'm a woman," she said publicly, a statement that captured the invisible cage that child stardom can become. Her response to that challenge was unconventional and admirable. When The Cosby Show ended in 1992, rather than chase the next role, she stepped back from Hollywood entirely and focused on her education. She attended Spelman College in Atlanta, one of the most prestigious historically Black universities in the United States, graduating with a bachelor's degree in sociology. The decision was entirely her own. She returned to acting on her own terms, joining the cast of Tyler Perry's House of Pain as Miranda Lucas Payne, a role that earned her back-to-back NAACP Image Awards in 2009 and 2010. During Bill Cosby's 2017 trial, Pulliam publicly attended in a show of personal support, a stance that generated significant controversy. She was careful in her phrasing, saying she could only speak to her own experience with him, which had always been positive, and that she would respect whatever verdict the jury delivered. Now 47 years old, she is a mother of two and has spoken openly about finding peace in farming, wellness, and intentional living. Jeffrey Owens, Elvin Thibodeau. His story has two chapters, and the second one began with a photograph he never knew was being taken. Born on March 18, 1961, Jeffrey Owens joined The Cosby Show in its second season as Elvin Thibodeau, the initially chauvinistic but ultimately devoted husband of Sandra Huxtable. Over 128 episodes across 7 seasons, Elvin evolved into one of the show's most satisfying character arcs, a man who genuinely changed, shaped by the women around him. Owens brought that journey with subtlety and consistency, and in a cast filled with standout performers, he more than held his own. For years after the show ended, Owens continued working as a professional actor, theater productions, television appearances, and the steady, unglamorous grind of sustaining a creative career. What kept him economically afloat, in part, were the residual checks from Cosby Show syndication. Those checks arrived regularly, year after year, for decades. Then, in 2018, Bill Cosby's scandal reached its legal conclusion. He was convicted of aggravated sexual assault, and networks immediately pulled The Cosby Show from syndication across every platform. The residual checks stopped completely. Overnight, a revenue stream that Owens had factored into his financial reality simply ceased to exist. He took a job at Trader Joe's in Clifton, New Jersey. He needed the income, and the position offered the scheduling flexibility that allowed him to keep auditioning. He worked there for approximately 15 months. Then, in September 2018, a fellow shopper photographed him stocking shelves without his knowledge and sold the image to a tabloid. The photo went viral within hours, accompanied by language that many in Hollywood described as job shaming. The public reaction split almost immediately. While some mocked the image, an overwhelming wave of support followed, from fans, fellow actors, and industry figures. Director Tyler Perry publicly offered Owens a role on his shows. The moment ignited a genuine national conversation about the dignity of all work and the financial fragility that professional actors, even recognizable, respected ones, routinely navigate. Owens left Trader Joe's shortly after the photo went viral, not out of shame, but because the media attention had made the work itself impossible. He has since appeared in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, NCIS New Orleans, and Nona's in 2025. Now 65 years old, he speaks about the experience without embarrassment and with hard-won perspective. Whitney Houston. She auditioned. She was offered the contract. She said no. Born on August 9, 1963 in Newark, New Jersey, the same city, by striking coincidence, as Keshia Knight Pulliam, Whitney Elizabeth Houston was 21 years old and entirely unknown to the general public when she sat across from The Cosby Show's producers in 1984 and read for the role of Sandra Huxtable. By every account, she was compelling. The producers were seriously considering her. The other finalist was Sabrina Le Beauf, who was 26, older than ideal for the part, and only 10 years younger than Phylicia Rashad. But Whitney Houston had a recording deal with Arista Records. Clive Davis, the legendary music executive who had signed her the previous year after hearing her sing in a New York City nightclub, had a very different future in mind for her. A multi-year NBC television contract would have locked her into a production schedule incompatible with recording and touring. She declined to sign. She chose music. 11 months later, her debut self-titled album was released. It became the first album by a female recording artist to place 3 consecutive singles at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Over the course of her career, Houston sold over 200 million records worldwide, won 6 Grammy Awards, earned 2 Emmy nominations, and became, by almost any measure, one of the greatest vocalists in the history of recorded music. The contrast with what might have been is almost impossible to process. The woman who could have been Sandra Huxtable instead became the voice behind I Will Always Love You, I Wanna Dance with Somebody, and Greatest Love of All. Songs embedded permanently in the cultural memory of multiple generations. On February 11, 2012, Whitney Houston was found unresponsive in her suite at the Beverly Hilton Hotel in Beverly Hills, California, hours before she was scheduled to attend Clive Davis's annual pre-Grammy party. She was 48 years old. The Los Angeles County Coroner's report determined the cause of death to be accidental drowning, with coronary artery disease and cocaine use as contributing factors. She was posthumously inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2020. The role she turned down produced one career. The path she chose produced a legend. 9 people. 9 completely different lives shaped by the same 8 seasons of television. One man who built an empire and burned it to the ground. One woman who walked away from a role and walked into immortality. One actor who lost everything to a stranger's photograph. And children who grew up on camera, carrying the weight of a legacy they never asked for. The Cosby Show gave America something rare and then took something back that can never be fully restored. So here's the question worth debating. Should The Cosby Show be preserved as a cultural masterpiece or erased entirely because of the man who created it? Drop your answer below. Remembered Lives channel wants to hear exactly where you stand.